Today we are going to talk about 3 watches I've owned which have shaped me as a collector. Welcome back to the channel today, all you watch heroes and nerds, and today, well, we're going to take a look back. So come on a journey with me as I reveal to you 3 watches that may not be the best watches I have ever owned, but nevertheless have certainly influenced me as the collector I am today. Now, if you are interested in any of these watches, I will leave links where possible in the description below. Right, let's get cracking. So, kicking off this list, I have to go back to what I consider to be the perfect Garter watch for under £1,000 from a mainstream company at least. The Hamilton Khaki series is well loved in the watch community, and for good reason. These watches are well made, practical, and from a brand with great history and cachet within the industry. My pick of the bunch is the Hamilton Khaki Field at 38mm, a watch that I essentially dailied for almost 3 years. This stunner comes in a 38mm case, has sapphire crystal, is powered by the venerable Powermatic 80 ETA movement, and has 100 meters of water resistance. This watch has been through it all with me. House moves, the birth of my sons. I've taken it to the Ionian Sea on our family's annual pilgrimage to Corfu, Greece as well. I couldn't recommend this model enough to anyone who is interested in a functional classic one watch collection or is a fan of field watches and the Hamilton brand itself. It really is an important watch for me as a collector. Now, this little stunner of a watch is the Smith's Empire, a beautiful vintage watch from a great British brand. This was a gift from my equally beautiful wife, and I have to say, it is absolutely gorgeous. She managed to pick this up for me new old stock, and I still have the box and original leather strap. But I quickly ditched that in favour for this 16mm double pass black leather strap, which has elevated this watch to a whole new level and given it a second life. Look, I like the simple design on the dial and the hands and the shades of gold in contrast with the gorgeous champagne dial. The small second hands add a layer of complexity to this relatively simple design as well. Now, this is a watch I will never part ways with. By the way, it does come in 34mm with a 41mm lug to lug, but with that double pass, it does wear a little bigger and maybe closer to a 35mm. I really can't fault this watch, and it's hard to find this exact model unfortunately, but I'll leave links to some similar Smith's watch on eBay. If you do see them, pick them up, because I think that these watches are little stunners and they're not that expensive either. Yes, the final watch that has influenced me as a collector that I'm going to talk about today is undoubtedly the Tudor Black Bay Heritage. Yes, it is a little on the big side, measuring up at 41mm in diameter, 50mm lug to lug, and of course 14.8mm thick, but it's the looks that has drawn me to this range and continues to this day. I mean, just look at the vintage looks of this watch, from the domed sapphire crystal to the aluminium bezel insert and the indices, all of which work absolutely perfectly for me. Yes, I did sell this watch off in the end, but it still continued to influence me and still does to this day. I've been able to try other vintage reissue watches such as the Oris Diver 65 range, the Walbrook Skin Diver, and experience those objectively thanks to this guy. Not to mention that I recently picked up the amazing Tudor Black Bay 54, a watch with much better wearing proportions, let's be honest, and in my opinion a more refined design. This was thanks all to the introduction of this amazing watch brand Tudor, and of course the Black Bay Heritage line. Yes, so let's be honest here. I really love the Hamilton, the Smiths and the Tudor. They have really influenced and shaped who I have become as a watch collector, and you can see that in the other watches within my collection. I tend to look at the vintage style watches, new old stock vintage, and also vintage reissue watches. I just love that time period. Let's say time periods from the 60s all the way through to the late 80s. I really like those kinds of designs that are coming through and are being reissued at the moment. Doesn't matter to me if it has faux patina or doesn't have faux patina, that doesn't really matter. It's all about the watch itself and the history behind that watch. And I always feel that some of these older designs were absolutely nailed from day one. So what do you think? Do you think that these three watches are good to have as a, I guess, a foundation or a blueprint for your collection, or do you think there are other watches that are more influential to you as a collector? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be really interested in hearing that, and I will see you in another video, watch nerds.